our lesson for today. So, before we start what we're going to talk about today, let's talk about what we did last time. So remember, last time we talked about Daniel and how when Daniel heard that him and his friends and all the other wise men were going to be killed because they could not tell the king what his dream was or what his dream meant, he went and he told his friends, pray. All of you pray, and pray for God to give me, to tell me what the dream was and what the dream meant. And then the next morning, Daniel knew what the dream was and what the dream meant. So he went quickly to the king and told him, wait, don't kill us. I know what your dream was and I know what your dream meant because my God told me what it was and what it meant because he's powerful. So now let's see what the dream was about.
Daniel went to King Nebuchadnezzar and told him, I know what your dream is about. And he told him that your dream is about the future. And I know this not because I'm wise, but because God wants you to know about the future. So Daniel told him, in your dream, there was a huge statue of a man, and the statue was shining and it was bright, and the head was made of
gold,
and from the neck to the waist was made of
silver,
and from below the waist was made of
bronze,
and the feet were made of
iron,
and the legs were made of
iron. So iron and clay.
Yes. So the statue was made of all that. And when the king was looking at the statue a stone broke from the cliff from nowhere and no one had touched it. And the stone went and hit the feet of the statue, and the statue crumbled down and it fell, and all of it was blown by the wind and nothing was left. So when the statue had fallen off, the stone grew bigger and bigger and bigger until it filled the whole world. And the king, when he heard of this, he nodded in excitement because what Daniel had said is what he had dreamt. But could Daniel interpret the dream?
So then Daniel kept on talking and he told the king, the statue, the one made of gold and silver and bronze and iron and clay, that big statue represents all of the kingdoms of the world. All the empires of the world are represented in the statue. The head of the statue, the one that is made of gold, that is your kingdom, your majesty. This head of the statue is the biggest and the greatest kingdom, and no other empire will ever come and destroy it. It is the greatest. All the others will rise up, but they will not be as strong as this empire that you have built. But the rock, the stone that broke off on its own and rolled down the cliff and hit the statue and destroyed the statue and then grew bigger and bigger and bigger. This represents the empire that God is going to raise up. God is going to raise up an empire, and it is going to be stronger and bigger than all others. And this empire, he's going to put his own king to be in charge of it. And it will grow and grow and grow and become bigger and bigger and bigger until it fills the whole world. And Daniel finished speaking, and the king looked and he was quiet for a while, and then he said, your God is greater and is wonderful and is greater than everyone else. And then Daniel and all of his friends were promoted. They were given better jobs, they were given better roles, and all of them went to different places. But Daniel stayed with the king because he became the king's chief advisor.
Yes.
So, from these children we learned that, one, remember in the beginning, Daniel said, I know this because God is the one who told me. And he told me because he wants you to know what your dream means. So sometimes children, we might know things because God has told them to us, but we need to remember it is God who has given this information. It is God who has told us what it is he wants us to know, because God is wonderful and he's all powerful and he knows all things. And then 2, when we do what God tells us to do, we will be rewarded. We will be recognized. We will get all of these bigger and greater things. Because when Daniel and his friends did what God wanted, they were promoted, given better jobs. And remember, they were captives, but they were given the best jobs and they were promoted. So now it's time for us to sing our song. So everyone stand up and help us sing this song. Okay kids, so it's time to sing our song. Now we've just talked about how Daniel told the king his dream and what it meant. And the dream meant that God is strong and powerful, and one day he's going to raise up an empire that will fill the entire world. So we're gonna sing a song that says God is super big, super strong, and super wonderful. So stand up and help us sing this song. My God is strong, He'll do anything big or small. Nothing is impossible for a super wonderful God. My God is strong, He'll do anything big or small. Nothing is impossible for a super wonderful God.
Welcome to our craft for today. Our craft is from Daniel chapter 2, and we learned about the king's dream, and he dreamt of a giant statue. So we have cut out a paper in the shape of a statue, and we will be coloring it. So for the head, we'll color it with yellow to represent the gold, and then from the neck to the waist, we will use gray, and from the waist downwards, we will use brown, and for the feet, we will use a mixture of blue and brown. So let's color. So after coloring, we'll stick our giant to the manila paper using glue. So after we stick it, this is what we will have. We have colored the head with yellow to symbolize the gold, and from the neck downwards, and from the waist downwards, then the their legs, and their feet.
Okay, so next we need to write where our story came from. So I want you to take your pen, your pencil, your marker, and at the very top, on top of your statue, I want you to write Daniel chapter 2, because that is where our story comes from. And after you write where our story comes from, you need to write what our lesson is for the day. So what we learned from this story of Daniel is that it is important to know that all knowledge comes from God. So at the top we write all knowledge comes from God, because it's God who told Daniel what he needs to know about the dream. So all knowledge comes from God. Okay? So that is our lesson for today. Now another thing we also learned is that all knowledge comes from God, and Daniel was able to tell him, and because Daniel was able to tell him, God rewarded him. So the next thing we need to write is God rewards those who do what he asks. So write that. God rewards those who do what he asks. So God rewards those who do what he asks. So those are the two lessons we learned from our story today. That because Daniel did what God asks, he rewarded him, and all knowledge comes from God. So now we have a picture of the statue that the king saw. So this is our craft for today, and this has been our lesson for today. So we'll see you next time to find out what else happens to Daniel. But until next time, bye!